you ever stopped to think about what's in your kitchen right now? There's probably pepper from India, coffee from Ethiopia, chocolate from West Africa, and tea from China, all sitting quietly on your shelves. None of those things grow where you live, and yet, there they are. The world didn't always work this way. For most of human history, people ate what they could grow, wore what they could make, and used what was nearby. Something changed that. Something shifted the entire structure of human civilization, and it happened gradually, almost invisibly. Let's trace it back to the beginning, right here on Simply Understood. Trade is older than money. Long before coins existed, people were exchanging things. Obsidian, a sharp volcanic glass used to make tools, has been found at thousands of kilometers from the nearest volcano. Archaeologists have traced it, and the conclusion is clear. People were moving goods across enormous distances at least 10,000 years ago. Not because they had to, but because someone, somewhere, had something valuable that someone else wanted. This simple impulse. I have something you need. You have something I need. Turned out to be one of the most powerful forces in human history. The first large-scale trade networks appeared in the ancient Middle East. Mesopotamian merchants were sailing across the Persian Gulf as far back as 3000 BCE, exchanging textiles and grain for copper, timber, and stone. The goods moved. So did the ideas, the languages, the diseases, and the technologies. Trade was never just about objects. The Silk Road is perhaps the most famous example of how far this went. It wasn't a single road. It was a web of overland and maritime routes connecting China to Rome, spanning over 10,000 kilometers. Silk moved west. Gold and glass moved east. But alongside them traveled something more durable: papermaking, printing techniques, mathematics, and religion. Buddhism spread from India to China largely through trade routes. Islam spread across Central Asia the same way. By the time the medieval period arrived, spices, pepper, cloves, nutmeg, cinnamon, were worth more than silver by weight in European markets. The demand was so intense that European powers funded entire voyages of exploration just to find faster routes to the source. Columbus wasn't looking for America. He was looking for a shortcut to India. That search changed the map of the world. The age of exploration, driven almost entirely by trade ambition, connected continents that had been isolated for thousands of years, and the same networks that carried spices also carried enslaved people. The transatlantic slave trade was, in economic terms, a commercial system. The sugar, tobacco, and cotton that built enormous wealth in Europe and North America came from that labor. Trade has always amplified existing power. Whoever controlled the routes controlled the wealth. The Industrial Revolution transformed this further. For the first time, manufactured goods could be produced in massive quantities and moved across oceans by steamship. The volume of global trade in 1900 was roughly 40 times what it had been in 1800. What this created was interdependence. A drought in one region rippled through prices in another. A war that blocked a shipping lane could cause shortages thousands of kilometers away. Today, a single smartphone contains components from dozens of countries, minerals from Central Africa, chips fabricated in Taiwan, assembly in China, then shipped to a consumer in Germany. That phone isn't just a product. It's a map of the modern trade system. And that system traces back to the same basic logic as those obsidian blades moving across ancient landscapes. Someone had something valuable. Someone else wanted it. Everything that followed, the roots, the empires, the wars, the wealth, the inequality, grew from that single, endlessly repeating moment of exchange. The goods on your kitchen shelf didn't just arrive there. They traveled a very long road,